the shape of our public spaces, the infrastructure of our cities, the lifts in our building, the way that light pours through a window, the puddles we jump, the traffic that we weave through every single day, this influences our sense of movement far more than any individual performance I can make as a choreographer. And in my heart of hearts, I know that this is dance at its most pure. So, last year, I coined a new job title and became the world's first architectural choreographer. Because I wanted to show people that our cities are dancing. And currently I'm doing this through the device of cranes. Cranes that are squeezed amongst our cities and reflected across our buildings. These amazing beasts that tower over our cityscapes and that just completely capture our imagination. These extraordinary machines that lift extraordinary loads through extraordinary spaces and never smash a single window. But have you ever thought about the construction of these machines? Have you ever considered the mechanics involved for these lifting, soaring, arcing machines that have been around for 2,000 years, shaping our landscapes? Have you considered the counterweights and the levers? What about the cogs and the gears? Have you considered the beauty of that movement and how it dances? So, and then there are the drivers, these normally extraordinary men. This is David Martin. He is 74 years old, and I swear he is superhuman. And he's superhuman because he can command metal. He can make 10 tons of steel, 100 foot high, do anything he wants. He can make it move with the incredible, this most amazing, deft and light touch. But then, you cannot separate cranes from money. This is an image from the Deloitte Crane Survey of London. And they use the cranes on a city skyline as a modeling tool to measure 3 times a year the health of a city's economy. And you cannot separate cranes from change. And change in its own right is a really unsettling thing. Because on one hand, you could look at the cranes which are on our cities as exemplars of forward thinking, of adapting our spaces for new generations. And on the other hand, you can think of them as being exemplar of, individuals and greed and change happening without our consultation. This is a great example of that. This is a panoramic shot I took a few weeks ago from a £20 million penthouse apartment in London. The views are amazing. You are eye to eye with the crane operator who's building the Tate Modern. But there is a really interesting question about purchasing those views. And in New York especially, that's really coming to the fore because building constructors are able to purchase the air rights from buildings around them to build higher and higher skyscrapers, even if that means as a consequence they block people's views or are casting shadows across public spaces. And that contradiction is really there because this is our experience at a human 6-foot-high self of these building sites. It's hoardings, it's road closures, it's noise. And we have no sense of the beauty that's actually happening, the collaboration, the skill and craftsmanship that happens behind that. So I got really interested in seeing whether or not you could spin that around. Can you put cranes at the center of our attention? And what happens if you do? So, last year, I was awarded a fellowship with Wired magazine, and I used it as an opportunity to take hold of my city. This is Bristol in the UK where I live, specifically Bristol Harbour. I made that harbour my set. I made 3 cranes my dancers and my inspiration. And I made my city my auditorium for 10,000 people who chose where they wanted to sit, where they thought they would have the best view. And I did this because I wanted to give people a chance to see that the infrastructure, this incredible mechanics of these machines, these items already in our spaces are beautiful. And maybe if we looked at them a different way, we could see these spaces as being beautiful again. I wanted to create a positive memory of cities where, actually, despite all the things I've said, we all live, work, and play in these spaces. I wanted to show off that skill and craftsmanship, show off the incredible mechanics of these machines, inspire a new generation of crane operators, the next Dave and Andy and Alan. I wanted to reclaim our skylines because they are our skylines. And I wanted to ask questions, just plant little seeds about who owns our cities. Is it us as the citizens? Is it our governance structures and our councils who we elect and pay taxes to have them operate? Is it the landowners who own the land? Even when we think we've bought a building, we've often only leased the land. Do we have a right to be able to see more than 6 foot outside of our window? When you purchase a building and you've bought it because of that view, or you've rented it because of that view, do you have a right to that? Who owns the sky above our heads? Who are cities being designed for? When was the last time you looked up? And because I'm a choreographer, I just wanted to give a gift back to my citizens, to the people who lived in this space with me and who I loved and I loved this space with. And this is what I made happen. 10,000 people came out to see 3 cranes do a synchronised dance routine. And we reached something absurd, like 4 million people online without any national press coverage. And actually, I understand why. Because this is an ECC scan of somebody watching Crane Dance Bristol live. This is the level of total brain stimulation of being at an event like that. The sight, the sounds, the narrative around it, the music, the crowd, the atmosphere, the smell, the locations that you know. That is a memory and a half. And I know it is, because I get emails from all over the world from people who saw Crane Dance Bristol of just random cranes on random other city skylines. Lisbon, Hong Kong, Seoul, you name it, Tokyo. And I'm so proud of that, because that means that memory of being at that event, that memory of looking up, that memory of questioning, and that memory of those cranes being seen in a completely different way, they have taken that with them, and every new skyline they go to, they look up again. So it's an amazing project in some ways, because we accidentally ended up being featured at COP21 in Paris. We've ended up in the new tourist videos. We ended up creating a memory for a city of where were you when the cranes danced? And dancing cranes are never going to end world poverty. I'm never going to do anything like that. But what I hope they do is create a seed, a memory of our cities that allows us to question, what would we like our cities to be for us in the future? What is that future of the cities? So my final provocation to you is just very simple. Which skyline would you like to see dance next? Thank you.